Recently single but not ready to mingle Harper decides to get away to the country for some chill without the Netflix. But the townfolk of Rory Kinnear's have other plans. Get ready for an over-symbolic trip with A Nightmare on Misogyny Street. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Boy Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. Today we're reviewing Men, directed by Alex Garland, who is known for directing the film Ex Machina and Annihilation. We meet our protagonist here by the name of Harper, who has witnessed her husband take a swan dive off a balcony of an apartment block, but didn't stick the landing. So she decides to get away and clear her mind at a country Airbnb. She then has an awkward meeting with the property manager, played by Rory Kinnear here, who is in no way creepy. From the get-go, everything's a bit unsettling and a bit creepy, and it's a bit of a slow burn, but it doesn't take long for shit to even get creepier. The phone and reception and internet keeps dropping out, so clearly the Airbnb's with Vodafone. There's only men populating the country town as well, and they all seem to share the same gene pool. I got strong Tasmania vibes while watching this. Then brick walls pop up out of nowhere, and a naked man starts to stalk Harper. We then have flashbacks throughout the film interlaced, and we discover that Harper was actually planning on divorcing her husband, and he threatened to kill himself if she did. So of course she feels guilty with her husband's failed Peter Pan roleplay. The first half of the film had me hooked. It's beautiful to look at, every frame is amazing, it's unsettling, it's tense, it's creepy, and it seemed like it was all ramping up to an epic conclusion, which it did, but not the kind I was expecting. The kind of, what the fuck am I watching kind of way. If you thought the film Mother was an anxiety-inducing fever dream, well, strap yourselves in. We get some intense body horror here, even so much so that John Carpenter's The Thing would start to cringe. Let me just say, though, if you've ever thought what it would look like to have the pregnant man emoji actually giving birth in real life, this film's for you. It goes full-blown body horror grotesque, filled with symbolism, and even the medieval pre-biblical mythological character, the Green Man, pops up. The fact that all the men in the town is all played by the same actor never gets mentioned, it never gets called out by Harper. I guess it's kind of the way the director's saying that all men are the same, in a way. They're all toxic and abusive to different variations, and all have a sense of lack of empathy. The ending is purposefully ambiguous because the director wants to begin a discussion, and he left it that way on purpose. It's kind of the equivalent of a high school teacher not knowing the answer to a student's question, so then says, "What do you think it's about?" It's a film about grief, rebirth, and the toxicity of a world that doesn't have the nurturing nature of women. Interesting. I can't wait for the sequel, /sidequel, /spin-off that should be coming out next year. Both actors are really good in this film, I have to admit, though. They're very believable, and you bought their performances. Jessie Buckley is great in this role as well. She has some honest, realistic reactions to some batshit crazy shit. But I've got to say, if you couldn't tell by the trailer, that it's kind of Rory Kinnear's movie in a way. He transforms himself completely for each individual character. Yes, there of course is some CGI fuckery here and there, but it's all his acting, of course. You know, his embodiment, his voice change, his stature. You can tell the bloke's done a fair bit of theatre. It's beautifully shot, like I said before, and every frame kind of looks medieval. I remember seeing the trailer to this film in the cinema a lot leading up to its release, and I've got to say, every time the title came up of Men, I heard laughs, scoffs, groans in the audience, and that was just from the female audience members. I swear you could hear the eyes rolling in the theatre. It's a terrible title to a horror film, honestly, and I think it may have turned a few people off thinking that it's going to be some sort of political agenda attached to it, and I would say, yeah, first half was great, like I said, I loved it, and it was unsettling, it was a slow burn, it had that creepy vibe to it, the stuff I love in my horror films. But then it shifts gears and gets batshit crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, I love some gory goodness, but this went from unsettling and creepy to full-blown yucky grotesqueness, and a lot of, look how deep we are with our symbolism. There was a moment that I accepted defeat while watching this film. I thought, yeah, a little bit more explanation would be nice. You're just a bee's dick away from that. But then, like I said, I accepted defeat and I was like, you're going to end it here, aren't you? Yep. But the film's only 100 minutes long, so there's that. Yeah, guys, that's my review of Men. Only 2 theatres were showing this, and I can kind of see why. It's very indie, it's a slow burn, it's definitely not for everyone. But yes, it wasn't what I was hoping for, unfortunately. Guys, write down below if you've seen this film, Men, and whether you liked it or not, or if you have any interest in seeing it at all. And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up, because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon, because we give out episodes weekly, and we'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky, kids.